පෝටීන් එකක් කියන ඇමිනෝ සිට් චේන් එකක්න හෙමතම කියන පොටින ඩික්ලෑ කරන්න ඩිෆයින් කරන්න තොකට ඒ පෝටීන් එක ෆංක්ෂනල්ට එක තීරණ වෙන්නේ මොනවගේ ඇමිනෝ සිට් චේන් එක ඉන්න සහ ඒක චේන්ු නෑන්ගල්ල එක 3ඩමෙන්ශනල් ති තොට ඕක මෙම හට යන්න පුලා මෙහම කියන්න පුලන් දෙස් ලක් සෝමිනි trillions more than stars in the fucking universe amount of combinations that could be attached. AlphaFold is able to analyze these chains and figure out the common patterns like rules. So turns out it's not completely random. There are biological rules. Our creators still use some framework to assemble these pieces. Now we have the ability to not just analyze an existing genome and analyze all these proteins and like මේක තමා මේ නහදික්වන ප්‍රෝටීන් එක අරකතා මේක හෙම කර plus we can synthesize new proteins, completely novel proteins that doesn't exist in nature. We will not live to see the fall of AI. It will be fall of humanity.
හැකියාවයි නොහැකියාවයි අතර වෙනස තෝරා ගන්න එකතු වී සිටින්නේ බන්්කාස් සමගයි.
අයිබෝන් වනක්කම්
ගොඩ දසක ගොම් පටන් ගත්තන මේ දවස්ක මේටිකම පටන්ගත්ත හරි ෆ්‍රීව ලයිකන හෙම කරන මතකද
අපි ඉන්ට්‍රෝස් කරන නැවත්වා ඇයි නැවත මහිත ඩයිවා
මට බැන්න වාමට බැන්නවාගවා හයිගුන්ටක වගේ වගේ කතා කියන්න පාග
ගොන් කතා කියන්නවා මේක අපි මේ රැස්පෙක්ට එක තියාගෙන කරන පොඩ්කාස්ට එක
රැස්පෙක්ට
ඒක විදිට ඕන ඕන විදිහට එම පටන් ගන්න දෙන්න බෑ
ඒක ගල් මුසල කියන විදිරමික් කරන්න බෑ මං කියතර කරපන්න ඇත්තම එන්න දොර
අපි අප එක කරු දිගටම කරමු මේ කෝල්
කෝල්ස්ටත් අපන්
නෑ මෙහෙමන දැන් මේ අපිට පුල්ලන් එතකට දැන් මේ අපි ඒකින් වෙන්නේ අර මේක හරියට හොඳට ප්ලෑන් කරලා කරන දෙයක් වගේ තේරෙනවා එහෙම නොවන ඉන්ට්‍ර එකක් වගේ තියෙනන මේක නිකන් අර
මුකද හැමදාම අපි දෙන්න හැමදා මොකර අර්මචන් අරගෙන කතා කරමෙන කිය ලැවිල්ල ඉට පස්ස ඒක පටන් ගන්න එපිසෝඩ්ගේ අන්තිමරීදිත මතක නෑර දැම් පටන් ගන්න ඕන මගුල කිය
that's you know what that's called the Bunt effect.
The Bunt effect. බන්ටනේ
බන්ට එක උඩට ඇවිල්ලා වාඩි වුණාම තියෙන්නේ චිල් කරන්න.
ඔව් කතා බහ කරලා ආතල්ලේ
අන්න ඒකයි අන්න ඒකයි
මේක තමයි ඉතින් මොනා කරේ මේ සතිය
මේ සතියේ ඇත්තටම චිල් එකේ හිටිය රිලැක්ස් එකේ ගොඩක් මේ නිවුස් එක බලබල මේ කවුද මේ AI නිවුස් ටිකක් අයිලා තිබ්බා මේ සතියේ මේ අපේ කවුද සෑම් ඕපන් AI එකේ CEO සෑම් ඕල්ට්මන්ගේ අවුස්ටිං එකයි ඌ අහපු ජොයින් වෙච්ච එක ගැනයි දැන් ටික ටික අර මේ මීදුම ටිකක් ක්ලියර් වෙලා දැන් කට්ටියට පේන්න පටන් ගන්න මොන හේතු නිසාද මේ දෙයක් වුණේ වගේ මේ ගොඩක් ක්ලියර් අවුට් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
ඇත්තටම මොකද්ද උනේ?
එහෙමයි. ඇත්තටම වෙච්ච දේ කවුරුත් දන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද the board is covered by NDAs. They are not supposed to talk to the news and all. හැබැයි මේ දැන් ආරංචි වෙලා තියෙන විදිහට ෆැක්ටර්ස් දෙක තුනක් තිබිලා තියෙනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ ප්‍රධාන හිතද අපි මං තියරයිස් කරේ මේ මක්හරි අලු ටෙක්නෝජෙක් හාගෙන නැති ඒක මේ මම ඩිය පොඩි හිරෝයික් විදිරන එක ෆ්‍රේම් කරේ සෑම් ෝල්ටමන් කියන්න ඇති අපි මේක පරිස්සමින් කරන්න ඕනි කියල බෝඩ්ඩෙක් කියන්න ති නෑ හෙමනේ අපි මේක පුල්ලන්තන සල්ලි මක්කරි ඇතර මෙහෙම දැන්න මේ වෙලාද so there are no like altruistic good intentions අරගම එක it's a technicality so the real incident that seems to have happened සෑම් ඕල්ට්මන් කියන ඩයිල් එක මචන් වූ ඕපන එක සියෝනාට ඌට කම්පැනිස් තියෙන හෙන ගොඩක් ඌ වයි කම්බිනේට කියලා ඉන්කියබේට එක ඕන කෙනෙක් so he owns a lot of companies and ඌ දන්නවා emerging technologies
අඩුවට හම්බ වෙනවා
ඌට පිත්තර අඩුවට හම්බෙනවා සමහරට කිකිලියොත් හම්බෙනවා ඒ ලෙවල් ඩයිල් එකක්කෝ හරිද ඉතින් පොර මචන් ප්ලෑනක් ගහලා තියෙනවා ලෝකී මේ උගෙම AI chip company එකක් පටන් ගන්න. So the hottest shit nowadays is to do your own chips. දැන් ඉස්සර හැමෝම කරේ දැන් අපි chips ගැන කතා කරොත් අපි silicon ගැන කතා කරන එක interesting topic එකක්. මේ දැන් හැමෝම දන්නවනේ දැන් chips ගහම Intel. ඉන්ටෙල් ඉන්නවා AMD ඉන්නවා Nvidia ඉන්නවා උන් තමයි chip හදන්නේ that was a fact for a longest time මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ තමයි මාකට් එක අල්ලන් හිටියේ මේ CPU හදන්න මෙහෙමයි ලොකු advanced chips ඊට පස්සේ පොඩි chips හදන තව ගොඩක් කටියට Toshiba එතකොට Texas Instruments Panasonic ද හැම එකම හදාලා හිටියා නමුත් high performance super advanced එකන ඔය මේ අපි chip හදන මේ chip හදන mechanisms මේ generations අපි කියන්නේ nanometers වලින් ඔය news බලද්දිම ඔයගලන්ට ඇහිලා ඇති මේක 5 nanometer architecture එක කියයි 7 nanometer කියයි චීනෙන් ආවා කියයි 4 nanometer එකක් එහෙම යනන් යන්නේ ඉතින් ඔය advanced chips ගොඩක් කලට අල්ලන් හිටියේ ලොකු companies දෙක තුනක් විතරයි නමුත් මේ ඕක ඔය trend එක වෙනස් කරේ Apple මේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ iPhone එකට මට මතක නෑ උන්ගේ A1 chip එක මම හිතන්නේ ඒකෙන් තමයි පටන් ගත්තේ they decided to make their own silicon the reason being මේ වෙන ලෝකේ කාටවත් Apple level එකේ integration තියෙන phone එකක් තිබුණේ නෑනේ hardware control එක so උන්ට ඕන විදිහට උන්ගේ hardware control කරන්න ඕන නම් උන්ට උන උන්ම design කරගන්න මොකද ඕක වෙන්න කෙනෙක්ට කිව්වොත් මේ ARMට හරි Qualcomm හරි උන්ට කිව්වොත් උන් කරන්නේ මචං they try to make a generic chip that can be sold to a lot of buyers because their business model is like we design one chip and we sell it to Samsung we sell it to LG we sell it to Google blah 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 right
no the Android phone වල තියෙන chip හැමෝට ඒ competition level එකේ හැමෝටම වගේ තියෙනවා
දැන් ඒකනේ දැන්
chip එකක්
නැහැනේ well there is now because Google අලුත් Pixel එක Pixel 8 මම හිතන්නේ මේ it comes with a custom chip made by Google so the trend is moving away from it and so මේ custom chip designing කියන එක suddenly became a huge deal and people realize that මේ companies especially ගොඩක් සල්ලි තියෙන companies වලට තේරුණා අපි එහෙම කියලා අපි chip එකක් හැදුවොත් අපිට එතන competitive advantage එකක් තියෙනවා ඉතින් අනිත් පැත්තෙන් okay geopolitical reason එකකුත් තියෙනවා US suddenly decided that like letting few people control the chip market is probably not a good idea especially with the China Taiwan issues but the Taiwan කියන රට පට්ට ස්පෙෂල් රටක් මාර මේ ඔබ දන්නවද Taiwan history එක ගැන
හරි චීන ගැන තායිවාන් වලටනේ
ඔන්න ගුටි කන කතාවක්
සෝෂල් ක්‍රෙඩිට් එක බැස්සා සෝෂල් ක්‍රෙඩිට් මේ හරිය විතර අවුරුදු 5ක් චීනෙ ඉඳලා හදාගත්ත සෝෂල් ක්‍රෙඩිට් ඩොග් ගාලා ගියා Can you give us a rundown on the history of Taiwan? මට හරියට මතක නැහැ අපිට ඒ කියන්නේ චීනෙ ඉද්දී තායිවාන් ගැන වැඩි කතා කරන්න හම්බුනේ අපි චයිනා හිස්ටරි ගැන කතා කරා තායිවාන් ගැන මෙන්ෂන් එකක්වත් නැහැ but ඒ කියන්නේ democratic side of China moved to Taiwan in early 90s වල right ඒ කියන්නේ 1940s කිට්ටු මට හරියට මතක නැහැ they jumped ship ඊට පස්සේ ඒ කියන්නේ මතක හැටියට තියෙන්නේ entire history of the world I guess එකේ කියන එක තමයි ඒ කියන්නේ like ඒක තමයි වහන්නේ what is the right China now ඒ කියන්නේ is it China the mainland or is it Taiwan so is Taiwan an SAR
no it's not a special administrative region it's not even separate it's part of China so technically it's part of China so as far as the Chinese government the current Chinese government which is the PRC People's Republic of China Communist Party the CCP Communist Chinese Communist Party right we ඔයගොල්ලෝ බය වෙන්න එපා අපි අපෝ chips වලට එනවා හොඳේ මේක පොඩි side test එකක්
හරි වැදගත් tangent
CCP එක කියන්නේ China කියන්නේ one party country එකක් one party rule country එකක් so ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක පොතේ විදිහට democratic රටක් ඒ කියන්නේ උන් ඡන්ද තියෙනවා නමුත් එක පාටි එකයි තියෙන්නේ
අපේ වගේම තමයි
ඒ වගේ there's not even an illusion of two parties at least like ලංකාවේ න අඩුම ගානේ
we have the illusion
illusion එක හරි තියෙනවානේ එහෙම එකක්වත් නැහැ so ඒක වෙන්නේ කොහොමද ඉස්සර වෙලා තිබුණේ China was a two party country right there was People's Republic of China the Communist Party of China and the other one the මොකද්ද උන්ගේ නම මතක නැහැ මට Party of Republic of China or something like that හරිද so එක සෙට් එකක් communist අනිත් සෙට් එක මේ capitalist කතා උන්ගේ ඇංගල් දෙක ස්පෙෂලි after මේ World War II එකම ඉවරනට පස්සේ Korean War එක කාලේ හැම there was a huge push during the Cold War. Russia was trying to influence all the communist countries or communist political parties in other countries to become more communist and accept communism as the better way of governance, right? And at the same time America was interested in promoting capitalism and democratic systems and
as democracies
as hailed as democracy, right? ඉතින් ඔය වලිය සැරට ගියා චීනේ ඒ කාලේ. ඉතින් ඕක ඇදිලා ඇදිලා යද්දී එක පොයින්ට් එකක් ආවා මේ communist powers were like parties were very powerful. They were back because it's very close to Russia. Same thing happened with North and South Korea too, by the way. Very similar story. Then ඉස්සර North South Korea කියලා දෙකක් තිබුණ නැහැනේ. There was only one Korea. After Korea was messed up severely by the Japanese, the survivors basically decided that උන්හපු ඒක රට හදන්න බලාගත්දී රෂ්‍යාව වලින් කෙලින්ම කමියුනිස්ට්යන්ට කිව්වා උඹලා බාවෙන්න එපා උඹලා රන් කරපන් මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණොත් අපි බලා ගන්නම් කියලා.
අපි සප් එක දෙන්නම් කියලා.
සප් එක දෙන්නම් කියලා. And that's how you suddenly had a North Korea and a South Korea. And American කාරයෙක්ව පල්ලා හින්න උන්ට උඹලා මොනවද බලා මේ මොනවද ගණන් ගන්න එපා අපි බලා ගන්න උඹලත් පණය වලියට කියලා. So a lot of people died and eventually we had North and South Korea. And similarly in China also it's the same thing. And the slight difference in China is that US didn't really give as much of a shit ඒ කාලේ. ඔය වලි යන කාලේ. මොකද ඔය වලි යන කාලේ there were some I think US was supporting both sides. එහෙම පොඩි නිකන් US වල පොඩි ජිල් මාට් එකක් ගිහලා තිබ්බේ ඒ කාලේ. ඉතින් මේ ඒක නිසා මේ China වල මේ democracy / capitalist friendly කට්ටිය they started getting killed left and right. They were losing their battle basically. And as a last resort what they did was they suddenly decided like fuck it කියලා ඔක්කොම අකුලගෙන පීනගෙන පීනගෙන ගියා අර පොඩි තායිවාන් කියන island එකට. ඒ island එක ඇත්තටම චීනේ කෑල්ලක්. It was never an independent entity. It was a province of China. So they went there and they decided okay motherfuckers this is our spot. Don't fuck with us කියලා they just basically barricaded themselves in there. And China was too weak by then because China has been waging a war as well. They decided you know what hari උඹලා ගියානේ ආයි වාදයක් නොවි ඉඳපන් අපි පස්සේ උඹලා ගැන බලා ගන්නම් කියලා. I think and now suddenly they started calling themselves Taiwan and they declared their own independence, but China was like no you're not, you're part of us, but we'll deal with you later because right now
China has a lot of areas like that. ඕගොල්ලෝ උන් කියන අපි චීන කෑල්ලක් නේ China is like නෑ මෙයා මගේ කියලා තියාගෙන
හැබැයි technically I feel like China has more say here. දැන් ඔය scene එක Tibet වලට තියෙනවා right, and Hong Kong as well. Tibet I think was mostly sovereign in historical context, right? And then they just kind of like they annexed Tibet.
They annexed Tibet.
And Hong Kong was
Tibet doesn't have an army or anything, so
exactly
it's really easy to do that.
Yeah. And I mean the Russia is also the same thing. Another tangent, but Russia is actually not like අපි map එකේ Russia ගොම මෙන්න පදාස් මේ area එකක් පේනවනේ පදාස්. නමුත් මේ it's actually a collection of countries. Right, there's like so many different ethnic groups, tribes, languages. It's just no one talks about them because no one gives a shit I guess about Eastern Europe. Anyway, so like you know all these people that Putin is forcing to fight in Ukraine, they are coming from these areas. They are not even actual like Ruskis. They are like random tribesmen. They are literally chilling in their mountains smoking some fucking tobacco or something, and suddenly Putin is like you go fight Ukraine.
So anyway, tying it back to chips now Taiwan right had nothing to go, like they were like a fresh country with bunch of people and they are like what the fuck do we do, right? Their economy was in shambles. Their closest neighbor, huge economy, is their enemy, so they can't fucking trade with them or nothing. And they were desperate, and luckily for them they had a pretty competent government for one reason or the other. They were very smart, educated people, and they were technocrats. So technocratic it's a way of governing
where your merit is given to people with education.
Yeah.
I think that's the...
Wonder what that's like.
Technocratic governments, maybe there's you have read enough sci-fi to know that it can go wrong in a horrible ways.
Because educated people make really bad mistakes, like like really, really bad, because they don't have the gut feeling sometimes. They just go by the logic and ones and zeros, like, so it can backfire sometimes. Most of the time it goes well, but when it goes bad really bad.
Yeah, the thing with the technocracy is that it always ends up becoming an oligarchy.
Yeah.
Like few educated, powerful people run the entire show.
Yeah.
So you still end up with some form of authoritarian government.
Yeah.
And that never ends well to anybody, including the authoritarians.
Yeah, like, you can't take China out of China regardless of where you're situated. It's always going to be a China.
Yeah. However, the positive side of this is that because they were smart, they were like, bro, like, we need to establish ourselves in the world. We need to mark our presence and make sure that we don't get, chased around or murdered by the Chinese, communist Chinese that's right next to our door. So what they did is they looked around and they realized the Silicon Valley, the Silicon Revolution that's happening in the USA.
Yes.
And because of the I think one of the presidents in Taiwan, Ekale, Umachang, he decided to, before he became the president, he worked in the United States, in the Silicon Valley as a chip engineer.
Okay.
So university එකට ගිහලා ඉගෙනගෙන MIT or something, and he worked in the industry and he realized what's happening. So he brought all that experience. Oracle ගෙනම Oracle නෙමෙයි, Oracle එක අපච්චිගේවත් දැනගෙන ඉඳලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඌ ඒ සීන් එක අරගෙන තයිවාන් වලට ඇවිල්ලා තයිවාන් වල ප්‍රෙසිඩන්ට් උනහම ඌ කියලා දෙනවා මේකයි ප්ලෑන් එක බොසා, අපි එහි චිප් හදමු. ඇමරිකන් ගාරයෝ චිප් හදන විදිහ මාර charter. They spend a lot of money, they pay a lot of money to their engineers. Why don't we just find some poor peasants here, teach them how to make chips, and give them pay them 1/10 of what the Americans are being paid, and just make chips. And that was their strategy. And then in the 60s and 70s, they perfected that. And suddenly, before you know it, Taiwan became the world's most advanced chip maker. And it's not even a real country, according to China. No, there's only 4 countries in the world that actually recognize Taiwan as a country. Not even US does that. You know that?
Even though they're really friends.
Even though US and US economy is mostly based on Taiwan's existence, US doesn't recognize Taiwan as a country because they don't want a piece of China.
So who would want that?
It's part inspiring because it's one of those rare occasions where they put aside their egos and they do business. සමහරට කැන්පානේ උඹලා අපිව අපිව recognize කරන්නේ නැත්නම් අපි උඹලත් එක්ක business කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. Taiwan wasn't like that. Taiwan is we don't give a shit whether you recognize us or not. Just make sure that you protect our asses. That's all we care about. So anyway, at the end of the day, Taiwan became a very advanced chip manufacturer, right? So Intel ලා හදන chips, AMD ලා ඒ කාලේ හදන chips, Google ලා හදන chips ඔක්කොම හැදෙන්නේ Taiwan වල TSMC කියන company. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation or something like that, right? I think now we kind of start to see that China is getting a little pissed off about this. Because now China, over time, has become more and more powerful, more and more strong in their military presence, their technical presence, technological capabilities. Then product, they are okay, then අපිට මෙච්චර දෙයක් කරගන්න පුළුවන් එකයි ඇයි අපි මේ අපේ මේ අල්ලපු යට ඉන්නේ උන් ඇයි මේ why don't we take control of it, right? That's they are starting to make noise about it. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ TV එකේ news එකම බලද්දි මේ YouTube එකේ news බලද්දි TV එකේ YouTube එකේ news බලද්දි මේ දැකලා ඇතිනේ තායිවාන් වලින් මෙහෙම එකක් වුණා, චීනෙන් මෙහෙම මිසයිල් එකක් ගැහුවා කියයි, ප්ලේන් එකක් ගැහුවා කියයි. ඒ මොකද උන් පොඩි සයිස් දාලා ඉන්නේ. දැන් මතකද අපි ඉස්සර අපි එකට හිටියා මතකද? දැන් ලෑස්තිද අපිත් එක්ක එන්නේ ඒ වගේ ලයින් එකක් යන්නේ. ඉතින් how it ties back to chips is basically US is now at a point where US doesn't want to fuck up Chinese relationships for the sake of Taiwan. Because US's economy is also depending on Taiwan and equally depending on China as well. දෙනගේ එකෙක්
they owe a lot of money to China.
yeah so now their
They
solution
want
is let's kind of make chips everywhere, right? Why does Taiwan get to make chips only? So they suddenly opened up the ability, lot of like red tape to make chips inside the US and US allied countries. So now there's a big revolution where a lot of people are trying to start their own chip manufacturing firms, their own chip designing firms, and just custom chip design has just become a thing. You can make අවුරුදු 4-5 වෙච්ච දෙයක් ඔක. Especially accelerated in the last few years. Then how does this all tie back to Altman? So Sam Altman saw this happening. ඌ හිතුවා මේ දැන් AI chips හදන්න කම්පැනි දැන් අපි PC chips හරි phone chips ගෙන බැලුවොත් ඒවා ඔක්කොම මේ they are called general computing, right? They are basically regular CPUs. Intel lang x86 64-bit 32-bit x86 instruction set එකයි ARM instruction set එකයි ඔය technologies එන්නේ regular computing වලට. නමුත් AI chips AI computing කරන්නේ වෙන chips જાතියක්. Basically they are called FPGAs. They are basically
programmable gate array.
Yeah. So again, FPGAs are not a specific thing. I think that's the wrong term to use. But basically, the point is, it computes things in a different way. We make a podcast how computers are really good at regular PC processors are really good at computing something in a linear way, where the AI or graphics chips, basically graphics chips, graphics chips or AI chips are similar in terms of what they need to do. Because parallelization is the whole thing when it comes to AI with neural nets. You need to run as many parallel computations as much as possible. Now, NVIDIA තමයි ඔය scene එකේ ඉස්සරහින් ඉන්නේ. දැන් Intel ට ගහන්න AMD හිටියට NVIDIA ට ගහන්න AMD හිටියට AMD එච්චර strong නෑ. ළඟ නැහැ. I think that creates a gap. So Sam Altman decided, why don't I make my own chip company to rival with NVIDIA?
Yeah.
So he started this plan behind the curtains to start his own chip company. Muvatana වැඩි වරදගත්ත විදිහ තමයි to fund it he decided to get Saudi sovereign wealth funds.
අයව නරක වැඩ.
අන්න ඒව නරකටනේ. දැන් ඔය සෞදි වල සීන් එක තමයි උන්ට අම්බානක සල්ලි දෙනවනේ. උන් තෙල් විකුණලා උන් ට්‍රිලියන් ගණන් සල්ලි දෙනවා උන්ට. උන්ට ඒ සල්ලි වලින් කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැති නිසා උන් හතර ඒක වියදම් කරනවා. They invest in a lot of
infrastructure projects, නැති දෙයක් නෑ.
Saudi owns a highway here in Toronto. For us.
Really?
Yeah, they are the majority stakeholder. So
it's but they have nothing to do. Yeah.
They have nothing to do, and they are trying to make it. අනිත් එක තමයි ඔය තෙල් කියන එක මචං, it's going to end. It's a finite resource. Either we will run out of oil or our planet will get destroyed and there will be no use for oil. The outcome they can be equally probable. So they are trying their best to like diversify and get out of this oil mindset. I think those countries don't really have the best human rights record, so they have a lot of like crap. They have to deal with a lot of crap coming from the Western countries saying umbala hadiyan hariyata meka treat your citizens fairly aragai megai. So they have a lot of sanctions, so they can't do their own research either. All they have is money and they can't do their own research. Now I think so the most likely theory about Sam Altman getting ousted is the fact that Sam Altman went ahead and started soliciting Saudi money for his company. And there are some tricky spots with the government where the US government does not want Saudis to invest in AI. They are scared. They are scared that Saudi will because Saudi issue එක තමයි Saudi likes to play the role of Switzerland when it comes to Middle East. හැමෝගේ මෙයාලව, right?
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
It's not like Switzerland, where Switzerland is mostly truly neutral. Saudi is not. But they have enough influence and enough pull that they like to pay the middleman route. And sometimes they throw the middle finger at Iran. Sometimes they throw the middle finger at US. So they are not a very reliable partner either.
Yeah.
So US freaked out. And I think that's what happened. That's what the theories are from what I read. US මේ ඉන්ටෙලිජන්ස් එකෙන් හරි මොකක් හරි බෝඩ් එකට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා බලපන් උඹලා ලොක්කා මේ තැන් තැන් වල ගිහිල්ලා සල්ලි ඉල්ලනවා විලි ලැජ්ජායි වෑනේ මේ පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න යාට පොඩ්ඩක් මේ කල්පනා කරලා බලන්න මේ කරන දේවල් හොඳයිද කියලා මොකද because OpenAI parent company is a non-profit, right? I think we discussed that last week too. The non-profit is designed to make sure AI is safe. Like, that's the ultimate goal, not money, nothing. So you can kind of see the dots, right? Okay, our CEO is trying to make custom chips with Saudis, and Saudis will have a say on who gets to use those chips, which countries, which companies, and they are usually not known to be democratic, free countries. And this technology going to those places will be potentially dangerous. Now you can kind of connect the dots and see. I think මේ ඕක පත්තු වුණ හින්දා තමා වයින් කරේ කියලා තමා කතාව යන්නේ. නැතුව මේ වෙන ලොකු මේ some world ending AI invention එකක් නිසා නෙමෙයි.
AGI නිසා නෙමෙයි. ඒතර AI ගත්තේ පොරව.
අය ගත්තේ මචං ඒකත් පට ඉන්ට්‍රස්ටිං කතා. So the thing is ඔන්නෝක තම කියන්නේ කොච්චර ප්ලෑන් කරත් මේ අර යන එක කොරහත් බිඳගෙන යනවා වගේ සීන් එකක් වෙනවා. ඒක පොඩි එක නවත්තන්න බෑ. මේ what they didn't plan for is that their CEO has become so powerful that the employees who work there because of the CEO.
Okay.
Right? දැන් OpenAI කියවහම උන් හිතලා තියෙන බෝඩ් එකේ උන් අපි මචං මේ AI safety ගැන කරන කට්ටිය අපිට සල්ලි වැඩක් නැහැ. එහෙම අපිට මිනිස්සු වැඩක් නැහැ. අපි මේ AI විතරයි අපිට වැඩක් තියෙන්නේ AI safety. නමුත් වැඩ කරන්නේ වැඩ කරලා තියෙන්නේ. අපි මේ වැඩ කරන අපේ බොසා එක්ක ඌ තමයි මේ ලෝකේ AI ගැන දන්න මේක. ඌ තමයි අපි දෙයියෝ. එහෙම ලයින් එක. ඉතින් දැන් දෙයියන්ව ෆයර් කරාම වැඩ කරන හැම එකම අපි වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපිත් යනවා අපි බොසායන දෙයක් අපිත් යනවා කියලා. So Sam Altman had developed a cult personality. That's what happened. He somehow made himself untouchable. And that's the thing that the board didn't realize. So the moment Sam Altman was fired, employees got super annoyed, they got angry, and because of the sensitive nature, then they make a fire kare intelligence reason එකක් නිසා they thought publicly කියන්නත් බෑ මූ අයින් කරේ මොන හේතුවක් නිසාද කියලා. The people got mad and they decided to quit, mass quit. They signed a letter saying they're going to quit OpenAI if Sam Altman doesn't come. So and imagine suddenly the brightest mind of AI in the world will be without a job. So that's even more risk because who the fuck knows which companies will hire these people? What can they build with that kind of power, right?
Yeah, exactly. දාලා ගියොත් උන්ට ඕන තැනකින් ඕන they can start whatever they want to start and run it the way they want. Yes. So now the non-profit is pressure to bring them back because it threatens AI safety.
It's kind of ironic. It's a lot of drama, but you kind of can see how it played out. හැබැයි අන්තිමට උනේ හැබැයි කවුරුත් හිතුව නැති දෙයක්. Sam Altman එන්න ගියාම ඌ කිව්වා බෑ කියලා. ඌ ලොකු සීන් දෙන්න පටන් ගත්තා. ඌ කිව්වා දැන් උඹලා මම අයින් කරා එන සීන් දාලා.
අයින් කරා.
සිකුරාදා හවස මට කියන්නෙත් නැතුව apparently Sam Altman was in Vegas watching the F1 show, F1 race.
පේනවනේ දේවල් රේස් ඔට්ටු දාලා නිකන් ජීවිතේ නාස්ති කරගන්න ගිහින් තියෙනවා.
ඌ රේස් එක බලද්දී ඌට zoom invite එකක් කරලා ඌ එතන තමයි වාස් කරලා තියෙන කම්පැනි. හිතපන්. ඒක නැත්තද බොරුද දන්නේ නැහැ. That's just a rumor, but it's more fun to say.
That's a good rumor. It's fun to say that.
But ඉතින් ඌට එන්න ගියාම ඌ බෑ කියලා පස්සේ ඇයි මේ අනේ කොහොම හරි එන්න කිව්වහම ඌ කියලා එහෙනම් ඉතින් බෝඩ් එකේ මට විරුද්ධව වෝට් කරපු හැම එකම අයින් කරන්න කියලා. So suddenly OpenAI board got completely refreshed. Now there's a different set of people who are all like Sam Altman supporters. Then AI safety.
He got what he wanted.
Yeah, he got what he wanted. Nothing happened to his investment.
ඒක තා පේනවනේ මහන්සියලා ඉගෙන ගන්න කියන්නේ ඕක තමයි.
And හැබැයි උගේ investment case එකට කෙලවුණා. So then the US government stepped in. US government was like, දැන් උඹලා මහ ලොකුවට මෙතන non profits හදාගෙන මේ charters ගහලා rules හදාගෙන හිටියට උඹලාගේ rules ඔක්කොම AI safety පිළිබඳ උඹලා ගත්ත actions ඔක්කොම backfire වුණා, right? And then the government was like, we step in and the government used its authority to force that Saudi fund to sell all its shares. So which is what the government should have done in the first place without like telling the board to fire this guy and create this whole drama. Unte ek karanna puluwanka.
They could have strong arm, right? They're the government, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
So but what happened was government got what they wanted anyway. They strong armed the Saudi company to sell all the shares. I think apparently it valued the company at 80 billion. Sam's chip company. The amount of investment the Saudi did. Now hitapa. The scale of shit that they're operating at. It was only revealed because the forced selling. මොකද එතකොට documents reveal කරන්න ඕනේ මොන percentage එකක් මොන ගානටද ගත්තේ කියන එක. I think government did that. Sam Altman got his company back, and also now he's no longer chained by the non-profits requirements. And other one that අද උදේ news එකක් කරලා තියෙනවා මේ උගේ non-profit එක disarm කරලා then 2025 ඉඳන් he's going to convert the company into a for-profit company. Every year the ability for the company to be profitable is doubled. මොකද උන්ගේ තිබ්බා clause එකක් මේ company හම්බෙන හැම profit එකම investor කෙනෙක්ට 100 times return එක ආවට පස්සේ හම්බෙන හැම additional dollar එකම research වලට donate වෙනවා automatically. දැන් උඹ $10ක් invest කරා නම් ඒ 10ට උඹ return එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා dividend එකක් $1000ක ඒ 1001 වෙනි dollar එක හැමතිස්සෙම උඹට එන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක research වලට donate වෙනවා. That was the policy. But now that he has full control of the board, he suddenly capped it to 200 times. And every 2 years it doubles, it exponentially increases. So like
I mean okkome Musk kila marendana, but I feel like Sam is going to be the new kid on the block, like, you know. He was always big, but he's going to be the big kid on the block, like, you know.
Yeah, they're saying it's going to be $1 trillion company, OpenAI. The moment the profit cap is removed, everyone and their uncle is going to invest in it.
Because that's what we dreamed of as a species, like, you know, an overload, like, you know.
Yeah. They still have the brightest minds. They still have the most advanced technology, and they're only going to be growing.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that's the Sam Altman drama. I think with chip scene he's a force to be reckoned with. Apparently the man is
he's young, right? He's not that old, right?
I think he's in 30s.
38.
He's young and he's sharp. He's technically competent. He's not a C-suit, like just a guy who's sitting and making decisions. He's actually down there too, like podi Musk vibe ඇත්තන, but Musk ට වඩා මු පොඩ්ඩක් අර මේ උගේ look advanced
Musk ගේ ego එක නෑ මං හිතන්නේ.
අන්න එහෙම scene එකක් තියෙන්නේ.
Musk has this, like, you know, bad ego about him, like, I can fix anything, like, I'm this thing and all that, but මූතිරි කොයි ලෝකේ අයිත් දන්නේ නෑ දැනට. But
Moscow youth වලින්
ගහගන්න ඉන්නේ මස්. ආයෙ දෙන්න ගහගන්න ඕනේ නේ.
උන් දෙන්න වලි. I think මචං Musk and Sam Altman were the founders of OpenAI.
Founders of it.
Yeah. And Musk left saying there was a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Basically, corporate speak for like Mahmood Hassan.
But yeah, he's brains. He's all brains. Musk is a lot of brawn as well.
Musk is mostly optics. Let's be honest. He knows how to manipulate like people and social media and all that shit.
Yeah.
But උට හැකියාවක් තියෙන්නේ අර නිකන් අර ඉස්සර මම ඒ කාලේ DOS වලින් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් කරේ අර ඒ ටයිප් හැකියාවක් උට තියෙන්නේ. It's not really
but Gavin Belson ගතියක් තියෙනවා.
පොඩි Gavin Belson line එකක් තියෙනවා. Silicon Valley. I think
Silicon Valley.
හැබැයි there was some new news technologies or like findings that came out of OpenAI too recently in between these drama, and that's why a lot of people are saying that සමහර විට මේක ඇත්තටම මේ AGI එකක් එනවද දන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම මොකක් කරේ threatening problem එකක් මේ invention එකක්, world threatening invention එකක්. They are cooking it and they are worried about it කියන එක. So there was this new thing that they announced called Q-Star. It's not even announced, they like basically mentioned it. අලුත් මේ research out research එකකින් ආපු result එක. So apparently it's a new system called Q-Star. දැන් මේ ඒක ගැනත් මම පොඩ්ඩක් කතා කරන්නම්. don't want to get too hung up on it because මට තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් අතරම to be honest what they mean but it's basically දැන් අපි AI එක train කරද්දී ඔව් ඉතින් අපි තාම ඉගෙන ගන්නවානේ අපි ChatGPT වලින් මේව අහලා ඉගෙන ගන්නනේ. Oh, did you know that ChatGPT can go search the internet now?
Yeah, I use it for work all the time.
Yeah.
Mame prasna I had to write a script about why Sam Altman left. Now I don't have to do any research. You are my AI right now.
Ado. ChatGPT so anyway, so all this
Q-Star. Mama like wachane I wanted to ask you about it anyway. I'm glad you jumped on it.
Yeah, Q-Star. What did you hear about it? I'm curious to know.
I saw you posting something on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is Q-Star? And I moved on. I did go digging into it.
Q-Star එකේ scene එක තමයි මචං මේ දැන් AI train කරද්දි especially මේ GP මේ language transformers usually ඒව train කරන්නේ මේ like you give an input, you get the output and you say this output is bad, be better. ඊට පස්සේ පොඩ parameters tune කරනවා this output is a little bit better input to output right. Now there's another concept called chain of thought reasoning කියලා. So instead of coming from A to Z you ask the AI kind of like think about this problem and tell me the steps to solve the problem. දැන් හිතන්නවා මේ mathematical මොකක් හරි මේ ගණන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් විසඳනවා කියලා. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් පටන් ගන්න ලොකු ෆෝමියුලා එකක ඉක්වේෂන් එකක් දෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ උඹ ඩිරයිව් කරන් ටික ටික පල්ලට ගිහලා තමයි x සමානයි මේක qvd කියලා ඉර දෙක ගන්න right. දැන් මෙච්චර කාල ගොඩක් AI train කරන විදිහ තමයි උඩ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙනවා උත්තරේ මැද්ද මොනවද වෙන්නේ කියන එක අපිට අදාළ නැහැ. Like we let the neural net take charge of it and figure out. So with the Q-Star it actually starts rewarding the thought patterns. So it asks the AI to like okay solve this problem but solve it step by step and every step there is another verifier that says this step is correct, this step is incorrect. It's more ඒක check කරන්නේ AI ගේ intuition එක. It's measuring the AI's intuition. මොකද it's kind of crazy right. එතපුවාම දැන් අර පොඩි උන්ට කියන්නේ කලබල වෙන්න එපා. ඕක step by step කරන්න. පරිස්සමින් හරියට ගාන බලලා ඉර
අපි ගණන් හදද්දි ඉස්සර බණින්න ඒක එකපාරට උත්තරේ දාන්න එපා. ආපු විදිය පෙන්නන්න කියලා we get yelled at a lot.
ආපු විදිය පෙන්නන්න කියලා. දැන් අපි ඒකට කියන්නේ නෑ උඹ ආපු විදිය පෙන්නපා. උඹ ආපු විදිහ උඹට හරියට හිතා ගන්න බැරුණොත් වැරදුනොත් අපි කියලා දෙන්නම් කොහොමද හරියට ඒ step එක කරන්න කියන එක.
කරන්න.
So like ChatGPT එකේ තියෙන ලොකුම issue එක දැන් තමයි උඩ ගණන් හදන්න බෑ. Right? It doesn't understand because it's a predictor. It just predicts the next word and මේ ගාන උ මීට කලින් දැකලා නැත්තම් ඌට ඒ උත්තරේ කවදාවත් predict කරන්න බෑ. මොකද ඌට අර mathematics කියන concept එක උඩ නැහැ. ඌට තියෙන්නේ මොකද්ද මේ වගේ එකක් આવවත් මොන වගේ එකක්ද කියන්න ඕනේ කියන එක. අන්න ඒකයි. But the power of language is its general purpose. Right? So what Q-Star is doing is making use of general purposeness of it. So it teaches the AI to like take steps and then we get really good at it. So කියන විදිහට මේ Q-Star එකේ capabilities measure කරලා බලද්දී now it can successfully complete like I think grade 8 mathematics question bank. There's like a standard question banks for measuring AI capabilities, right? ඔය හැම එකම fail ලා තින්නේ maths solving වලින්. When Q-Star was introduced apparently now it can solve mathematics. Any formula, any equation that it has never seen before, as long as it has seen an example of how to solve it, it will do the step by step thing to build its own intuition. And that's kind of scary because the crazy part is I think with Q-Star the thing that checks whether the answer is right or wrong is also an AI, right? So you just let it do its thing, it can train itself.
It's AI is all the way down.
Yeah,
always has been.
මම දැක්ක එක තැනක කියලා තිනවා you can describe it as a self critical AI. මොකද ඌ දෙයක් හිතලා කියන මම මේ හිතපු දේ හරිද වැරදිද කියන එක අහනවා.
We are giving AI imposter syndrome.
Maybe we'll end up I don't imagine හිතපන් හරිද maybe one day there will be like AI mental diseases. There will be depression. There will be artificial depression.
When you drift, you call it hallucination, right?
Yeah.
You literally call it something we have. So, like, AI will go into depression. එක කාලයක වැඩ කරන්න මුළු ලෝකෙම production නැවතිලා. Why? Because AI has worldwide AI is having an existential crisis, like, you know.
Honestly, we are in uncharted territory. Then මොකද the moment we let go of the කියන්නේ අපි අර මේ AI ට හිතන්න ගන්නපුවාම දැන් අපි අර AGI ගැන ගිය සති කතා කරේ. To me, the definition of AGI is an AI that can think for itself. දැන් Q stacking කරන්නේ AI එකකට intuition දෙන එක. හිතන්න උගන්නන එක. I think, yeah, who knows, maybe it'll get better, or maybe it'll get worse, maybe it'll get depression and it'll die. There'll be like maybe there will be a whole generation of AIs where like it doesn't last that long because they always get depression and it deletes itself.
you hit 27 years, you kill yourself. There's an AI 27 year club, like, you know, like
yeah, like no AI can last. It can level kadapaham it's like gets too depressed to do anything and just deletes it.
Full code එක delete කරලා දානවා. That's fine.
ඊට පස්සේ ආයි snapshot එක කරලා restore කරන්න. Itapang, what kind of shitty existence would that be? Like you are destined to be depressed and dead.
Yeah.
And your masters keep reviving you to a time just before you got the depression.
Oh shit, that's what's happening to us as well. Maybe.
Shit.
We can't see our master, but අපිත් මරනවා ආයෙ එන්න ඕනේ. ඇවිල්ලා ආයෙ මේකේ කඹරන්න ඕනේ මොකක් හරි හේතුවක් නිසා.
It's a never ending cycle. Machang, it's all planned by the big pharma and psychiatrists, Machang. It's all planned.
ඔයගේ අදහස මොකද UBI ගැන?
Universal basic income?
AI ගැන කතා. Yeah, definitely. AI තැනකට එන්නේ like where they are like fully competent and we'll be probably doing like garbage picking and farming and ඒවත් තව ටික කාලයක් ඇද්දි like they'll get everywhere. මොකද මං ෂෝ එකක් බලන්න පටන් ගත්තා. Have you watched Upload?
නෑනේ මොකක්ද ඒ?
I think you like it. It's on Amazon Prime. මේ කවුද office කරේ Greg Daniels ඌ තමයි ලියලා තියෙන්නේ. Created by him. Basically like when you in that future when you die you singularity, like, you know, you upload your conscious into another simulation.
Ooh.
But what they talk about is like not philosophy, not technology, but human problems, like, you know, what we have as issues, like, you know, the ekedi they make fun of technology in all other way. Like it's not dark as Black Mirror, but it's not light either. It's very very smart jokes about it, like, you know. So they have like 3 seasons.
So all this drama happens in the virtual world where the dead people are uploaded?
Both, like, you know, you can cross between the two. If you want to go see your loved one, you just put on a VR goggle and you're in this, they call it lake view. So it's like basically a game, like, you know, you log into it and then you live, there's food, there's microtransactions in the like, you know, afterlife.
So there's an economy for dead people.
Yeah, but they can't contribute to the economy. Inheritance you can spend it in your afterlife.
That's some next level shit. Or your kids will be on the hook to pay your upload rent.
Yeah. So they have like the lightest version of it called 2 gigs. උන්ට gigabyte දෙකයි මාසෙටම හම්බෙන්නේ. So they basically, like, you know, gigabyte දෙක වෙනම they freeze. Like whatever they do, they just like
that is so diabolical.
It's so evil. Like it's that hina වෙන්නේ capitalism වලටයි technology වලටයි. But they mask it with the whole human problems. ඒක නිසා there's a relationship and all that. It's very extremely Greg Daniels, like, you know, office එකේ තිබ්බ humor වලටම සමානයි, but not office level, obviously it's a different story.
Yeah, of course.
But ඒක හිනා වෙනවා මාර ලස්සන. ඒතන තමයි මතකනේ, if we can upload our consciousness, why wouldn't we contribute to the economy? Like, you know, we can do different things, like, you know, we can work from afterlife, you know, it'll be like, again, like, you know, whole freaking simulation thing, like, you know.
Yeah, maybe there's tax issues. Can dead people pay taxes?
Like we are about to answer some crazy ass questions nobody has ever asked before. We are
Bro,
at the edge of it.
Yeah, I saw this news recently. There's a company that is specializing in lucid dreaming. අපි lucid dreaming ගැන කතා කරන දවසක් මතකද? And these guys say they have the technology to make people work in their sleep. Knowledge workers. So you hook up to their machines and you fall asleep. ගෙදර වැඩ කරද්දි, and your night shift you'll be working in your dreams. You'll be fucking coding, you'll be doing shit.
I just want to run away to the jungle and never come back. And at this point, I'm done. I've seen enough shit. Like, I mean, I want to want to make. I barely want to work when I'm awake. I want to work when I'm asleep.
It's a similar thing, I guess, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, how are you going to? Yes, there's going to be like a sleep economy, sleep workers.
Yeah, and we are extending our life as well, right? Chutta pay life expectancy එක වැඩි වෙගෙන එනවා. So like we'll be working until we're like 300.
Oh yeah, 100%. අර කවුද මේ අපේ කවුද නීල් ලොක්ක දවසක්
මමත් ඒක දැකලා තමයි කතා කරන්නේ.
අර he said the oldest person to live would have been born today.
Yeah.
Because the way the technology is advancing, way the biological sciences are advancing, we are probably going to come up with a medicine that will extend your lifetime by 50 years. හරිද? දැන් ඉපදෙන එක අවුරුදු 40 දී ඒ පිල්ලෙක් ගන්නවා. හරිද? By the time he's like 90 years old, he's technically still 40 because his life was extended, right?
Yeah.
And there are going to be another pill that extend your life by 100 years. ඌ ඒක ගන්න 90 දී. තම උට 40යි. Right? But 90. ඊට ඌ 190යි. ඌ 190 වෙනකන් ජීවත් වෙන ඒත් උට 40යි. So on and so forth. He's going to live forever.
Yeah. ඌ ඒක අන්තිමට ඉවර කරපු තැනයි මම කැමති මේ කියන්නේ පොර කිව්වේ කියන්නේ එහෙම එක්ක අපි රීප්‍රොඩියුස් කරන එක නවත්තන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේ එක්ස්ටෙන්ෂන් එකක් ගහන්න පුළුවන් නම් එක්ක ප්ලැනට් එක දාලා යන්න ඕනේ. දෙකෙන් එකක් කරන්න ඕනේ. මොකක් which one do you want to do? Do you want to stop procreating or do you want to conquer the entire galaxy? Like what do you want to do?
Yeah, there was remember Spellbinders?
Oh.
මායාබන්ධකය
Aska මායාබන්ධ.
Yeah, ඒකේ මේ season 2 එකේ හරි 3 එකේ හරි තිබ්බේ අර මේ that fucking the whole the boat that can travel realms මේ portal එකක් වගේ හදලා යන scene එකක් තිබ්බේ ඒක මතකද මේ they go to a world where people have found මේ the ability to live forever බෙහෙතක්.
Yeah.
නමුත් ඒ බේත ගත්තොත් they become infertile. වඳ වෙනවා.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Oh.
So suddenly you have this whole world of people who are living forever. They have no needs. They are ඔක්කොම උන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතා ඔක්කොම වෙලා තියෙනවා but they will never reproduce. So I think it's a very common conundrum, like how the fuck do you deal with that situation?
Yeah, how do you do what do you do? Like what's the right call?
The UBI.
UBI. So in sync.
I don't know. Honestly, I think UBI will help, but I feel like UBI will be a short-term fix because UBI එක solve වෙන්නේ නැහැ අර self-satisfaction කියන එක.
Yeah, exactly.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඒකේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි දැන් මිනිස්සු හිතනවානේ සල්ලි වලින් හැමදේම විසඳන්න පුළුවන් කියලා.
Yeah.
සල්ලි වලින් හැමදේම විසඳන්න බෑ කියන මතය තමයි මං ඉන්නේ. මොකද it's a short-term fix. So I am on the camp that we need UBI immediately because AI and automation එනවා ඇවිල්ලා ලෝකේ වැඩ කරන උන්ගෙන් 150කට කෙල කරනවා. We can't let these people just die because our governments are too slow to adapt to it to support this. එතකොට UBI is like the best possible way to make sure these people don't get fucked over. But long term I feel like UBI will not help because it's an equalizer, right? The හැමෝටම අතේ ඩොලර් 10,000 ගන්න තියෙනවා කියන්නේ කාර්ගාවක ඩොලර් 1000ක් නෑ වෙනවා අන්තිමට. It's just the way economy works.
Yeah.
So එතෙන්ට එන්න කලින් we have to figure out like how do we keep people busy? Because at the end of the day that's the problem. We just need to keep people busy. The whole point of like giving people money is so that we know that they are not going to go and steal things. We know that
that's true.
Right? Because at the end of the day
we tried that during like we tried telling people cake පාන්නත්තන් කේක් කාපන් කියලා that's how you lose your head. You know?
Yeah.
People get mad.
Yeah.
People have the tendency to get really mad when they don't have money. So.
Exactly. And the same thing when they're not fulfilled. So I don't know. Honestly, මම එච්චර ඒක deep හිතලා නැහැ. කියන්නේ ඒක short term solution එකක් විතර හොඳයි. මොකද්ද long term solution එක කියන එක මම හිතලා නැහැ. ඔබට තියෙනද ideas එකෙන්?
Yeah. The closest thing to UBI we have is like ඕගලගේ unemployment දෙනවා right Canada වල?
ඔව්.
මෙහෙත් තියෙනවා and you get the like Centrelink කියලා තියෙන payment එක if you are like living below the poverty line you can apply for it. And I think those people like I don't think they're fulfilled.
That's the thing.
අර නිකන් yeah like
හැබැයි UBI is indiscriminatory. කාටද
everyone gets it.
Universal basically උඹට උඹ මිලියනයක් කෙනෙක් වුණත් උඹට හම්බ වෙනවා ඒ UBI ගාන උඹ හිඟන්නෙක් වුණත් ඒක හම්බ වෙනවා. ඒක වෙනසක් නෑ. That's the difference. So I don't think any of the Western countries have a concept of UBI yet. Except Alaska. Alaska has equalizer payments. But they seen it.
For the oil, right?
Oil, yeah. Alaska has so much fucking money from their oil sales. They're like, here, like, thank you for being a citizen of Alaska.
Who the fuck would want to live in Alaska, right? It's cold as hell.
Yeah. And I'm sure other oil countries do that too. Like Oman, Saudi.
Scandinavian?
Scandinavians do that because oil and gas, ne?
Oil and gas. So.
මාර වාසියන්නේ ඔයිල් හරි ගෑස් හරි මක්කර තියෙනවා කියන්නේ නේ
මම වගේ වෙල අහන්න ගිය කතාව ඒ කියන්නේ what's the again obviously silicon is the main element of the chip but is it finite like you know will we run out of silicon ever?
Probably not.
There's
silicon
so
is the most common one of the most common elements on earth and everywhere else in the universe too pretty much.
Yeah. If we get like one asteroid that will be enough for like thousands of generations of silicon. So.
Silicon that we have on earth is enough for thousands of generations. Like we will never run out of silicon. What will run out of though is like other rare metals. Cobalt, like battery hadane eva. Kawuda me someone was saying transformers. Step up and step down
robots
transformers.
Sorry.
Very
you say transformers my mind run completely there but yeah like you know power generation
that's going to be the next limiting factor මොකද මේ at the rate of AI and other shit that's being invented there's going to be a huge need to store a huge amount of electricity transfer a huge amount of electricity and then also like convert that electricity voltage into something that's functional in a microchip. And the prediction right now is that's going to be the limiting factor. So invest karna na Google invest karna transformers company walde.
Oh.
Right. Michael Bay transformers
ne vitara hai bhai. Autobots la invest kar.
Ek kohom vedanna ne?
What?
Autobots la? කවද දෙන්නේ දන්නේ ne?
අය අපි බලන් ඉන්නවා තාම ආවේ නැහැ පොඩි කාලේ ඉඳන් බලන් ඉන්නවා.
ඔව් නේ.
But I remember where I first felt jealousy in my life. I remember that very well. මේ මගේ කසින් කෙනෙක් හිටිය ඌ පොඩි කාලේ ඉටලි වල හැදුනේ. ඊට පස්සේ මේ ඌ ලංකාවට ආවට පස්සේ after like couple years we went to his house. So he's very nice guy. and මේ these are my toys කියලා ඌ ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් විතරයි කතා කරන්නේ. මේ ඌ මට පෙන්නවා. It's a huge collection of G1 transformers. Like OG like you know I was like, what is this feeling I'm feeling? Like, why do I feel like I want to punch his fucking teeth? I remember feeling jealousy. Like, you know, will AI ever have our bad stuff? Like, you know, will it be jealous of like Siri and Alexa gets advanced and like, you know, like, do you think the way to make it think is we have to feed our bad shit to it? Like, you know, I mean...
Nah. Because jealousy is not logical. Right, because this is my theory and AI might come and slap me in 5 years for saying this. But I think AIs will be smarter than humans. Like AIs probably will not have the shitty qualities of humans. Like,
but it's a part of who we are. Like, you know, I mean, if we didn't get jealous, there will be no Troy, like, you know, they won't be like, you know, like Rama Sita Yuddha තියෙන එකක් නෑ, like, you know,
if the AI decides that being jealous is essential for its betterment, yes,
Yes.
අර අපි ඕක ගිය සති කතා කරන්නේ මොකක්ද මේ what did we say but what suffering or something like like for example, right? If we decide to get rid of suffering in the world, is life worth living? Right? You don't have a reference. You don't know how bad it could get. Why do anything? Just sit at home and sleep.
So the more we talk about this crap and more we try to peer into the future, all I realize is this is a massive game. This is a game called 21st century. You and I are just playing our role in it, and soon it'll reset and we'll go back to 1970. That's when the clock starts, right? So we go back to that and then we come back so
there is an end.
There's an end.
Maybe the simulation is trying to find where the end is. අපි කිව්ව කලින්ක වගේ අවුරුදු 27න් AI එක ඩිප්‍රෙස් වෙලා මැරෙනවා වගේ මේ සිමුලේෂන් එක ඩිප්‍රෙස් වෙලා එක තැනක ඉම්ප්ලෝඩ් වෙනවා.
If you believe in civilization rules, 2050 දී ඉවරයි ගේම් එක. 2050 දී වැඩිම ලකුණු තියෙන එක තමයි දිනන්නේ. Or if you finish a goal before 2050, you win. And most countries have finished their goals, cultural wise, science wise, religion wise. They have victories are there.
That makes me think. I feel like 2020 was a goal, and we barely survived it.
We survived.
It was a gate, so to speak. Our overlords were like, okay, let's see if you are ready. Unleash pandemic protocol. See if these buggers will survive.
What we're talking about is great filters, right? How a civilization can jump through hoops and still survive. So then නමසිය විස්සෙත් තිබ්බ එක. ඒකෙන් we got fucked. We barely survived that. But this one අපි QR code පිත්ති වෙලා අලවලා track කරලා data පාවිච්චි කරලා injection හදලා
මාස
120 දී it won't even be a blip, new an AI will create vaccinations for us while we are just chilling we're just going to be glued to screens.
Yo, that's already happening. Do you know about the sorry, I just keep bringing things up because this is crazy shit happened last week. AlphaFold දන්නවද Google ලගේ තියෙනවා ඩීප් මයින්ඩ් උන්ගේ AI රිසර්ච් ෆර්ම් ආර්ම් එක තමයි ඩීප් මයින්ඩ් කියන එක. හරිද? ඩීප් මයින්ඩ් එකේ තියෙනවා ඇල්ෆා මේ Go කියලා ඇල්ෆා කියලා උන්ගේ AI සුයිට් එකක් තියෙනවා. අර උන් තමයි මුලින්ම අර Go කියලා ගේම් එකක් මේ සෝල්ව් කරපු AI එකක් ඉන්ට්‍රොඩියුස් කරේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ Go කියලා ගේම් එකක් තියෙනවා. මම ඒකේ බෑග්ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එක දන්නේ. ඒක නිකන් මේ something like chess but massively more advanced, way advanced and no computer. No computer has ever been able to do it, and Google's AI managed to do it and outperform the best Go player in the world easily. කෙනෙකුට අපත් නැහැ. උනිකන් full hole මංගලා what the fuck happened වගේ. And it did these things in a creative way. It actually came up with new strategies that humans have never thought. අඩුම ගානේ can plan this AI has seen so many players making moves and copied something. Nah, this bugger was being created.
chess වල තියෙනවා set rules ටිකක්. එකකින් පටන් ගත්තොත් you can predict what the next move is. Go එකේ එහෙම බෑ. It's about taking territory of the other player. අන්තිමට වැඩිම territory එක තියෙන එක දිනනවා. It's just black and white also
chess කියනවා දක්වන්නේ මේ chess is considered a solved problem. Mathematically solved problem. ඒ කියන්නේ ඕන chess move එකකින් පටන් ගත්තාම දිනන්න පුළුවන් move set එකක් තියෙනවා. දිනන්න බැරි නම් දිනන්න බෑ කියලා දැනගන්න පුළුවන් ඒ අවස්ථාවේදී. There's nothing left to chance. So chess is solved. Whereas in Go, there's trillions or quintillions of combinations. There's it's impossible for you to know where the game is gonna go. Anyway, so AlphaGo के Alpha में DeepMind के तब Alpha product को release करा AlphaFold किया. That thing was able to predict protein structures. I think we talked about protein structures once before.
we did
දැන් මේ ප්‍රෝටීන් එකක් කියන්නේ ඇමිනෝ ඇසිඩ් චේන් එකක් නේ. එහෙම තමයි ඒ කියන්නේ ප්‍රෝටීන් එක ඩික්ලෙයාර් කරන්නේ, ඩිෆයින් කරන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ ප්‍රෝටීන් එකේ ෆන්ක්ෂනැලිටි එක තීරණය වෙන්නේ මොන වගේ ඇමිනෝ ඇසිඩ්ස් ඒ චේන් එකේ ඉන්නේ සහ ඒක චේන් වෙන ඇන්ගල් එක. It's a 3-dimensional thing. එතකොට ඕක මෙහෙම මෙහෙට යන්න පුළුවන්, මෙහෙම කියන්න පුළුවන්. There's so many trillions, more than stars in the fucking universe, amount of combinations that could be attached. AlphaFold is able to analyze these chains and figure out the common patterns, rules So turns out it's not
Biological
completely
rules.
random. There are biological rules. Our creators still use some framework to assemble these pieces. So AlphaFold had figured that out. And now they are able to, I mean, this is old news. This is not cutting edge news. The cutting edge news comes after this. But now we have the ability to not just analyze an existing genome and analyze all these proteins and like make a protein plus we can synthesize new proteins, completely novel proteins that doesn't exist in nature. Suddenly we have a way to mechanically assemble a protein and let it do
so
our
we can
bidding.
create our own creatures.
Yes.
So again, when we find exoplanets, all those fuckers have different gravity and different atmospheres. But now we can go park our spaceship, create the creature that can survive the best in that planet, and take over.
Eventually, yes. I mean, we are still at a single protein level. But what's preventing
But
from...
exactly, like 120 years ago, we barely got off the ground. And 50 years later, we went to the moon.
Yeah.
So now we are very advanced species, like crazy advanced species. So it's not that far.
So now we are able to synthesize proteins to do our own bidding. Some company has manufactured a protein-based robot. Light his fluorescent scene. So the bugger shines and it can move in a certain direction. So now scientists are using that protein to image inside other creatures like muscles. Because it's emitting a light, you can get a picture of that surrounding area. And it but it gets the job done, right? And it's a protein, it's organic, no harm done.
You bring butter. You bring butter.
Well, these are not beings. So that article was specific about it, like, because a concern like, are we just creating beings? There's a technicality. A being needs to have a life cycle. It's not born, it's synthesized. And it doesn't die, it just there was a technical term, it just like falls apart. So therefore it's an organic thing, but it's not a biological being. But maybe one day we'll have one.
That's interesting.
So
that's interesting.
On top of that, they released another one called Genome or GNOME, GNOME. It can do the same thing, but for materials. So in most of the stuff we use, our batteries, carbon fiber, the alloys, like most of these are synthetic materials. Like most of the technological advancements, miniaturizations, PCBs, circuit, we are no longer relying on what happens in nature. Scientists are able to get like compounds, mix them, well, chemists most likely, right? And they can come up with stable like materials, new materials that never existed in nature. Now there's an AI that's able to, once it gets the list of like basic precursors, you get like some base materials, and it spends its entire time just figuring out mix karot mono ekak kiyada me wage karot mono wage ekak kiyada kiyala. Now suddenly
Goodyear, like Charles Goodyear, the dude who came up with vulcanization. Like rubber wasn't a stable material. Rubber fell apart during heat. Literally combined everything with rubber to find out what works with rubber to keep it stable. He went bankrupt doing this.
Exact same logic, but with an AI. So it will have a hunch on what materials will work the best. Instead of a human trying everything, it will know exactly like these types of materials will work better. So they have this fucking robot in a lab, fully mechanical. All it does is it gets instructions from the AI, it gets two compounds, tries to mix it and see if it's stable. That's all it does. It's a robot arm. Like a photo it's made by Mitsubishi or something. वो लैब में कहते हैं वीदुरु कोडवा कहते हैं ना वो देना रहना अंकरन materials mix करने का.
That's art, though. That's art, if you ask me. Like, that's.
And they already found like 8,000 novel materials that never existed in the world before. It started. So like superconducting materials could be discovered that way. Better batteries, better conducts, low resistance metals. who knows where the limit is? Like, it's insane. Like, we are making massive leaps in both like material sciences, biological sciences. Who knows what else we'll see? Like this AI revolution. Now we're actually seeing it cross out from just being a research field into an actual like a tool. Like it's like the PC revolution. Then computer mulling introduce කරපු කාලේ computers පාවිච්චි කරේ nerds ලා like scientists or mathematicians. But now like from I don't know, like everyone is using computers to make their lives easier.
You carry a computer around with you, you know, and there you have a computer.
It's not just entertainment, it's actually augmenting, right? Like society will collapse without computers today. It's that much integrated. So I think we are seeing that happening with AI. Like in 10 years, we will say society will collapse without AI. I don't know how we lived without it.
Yeah, look, like telephone revolution, like, you know, the mobile phone revolution was crazy. We saw so many different things come out in that field. Now it's, I don't know.
You know, another thing that...
How the Sam, that there's a Moore's law for everything here.
Oh, really?
Like, everything, yeah, like, you know, everything doubles that capability after a certain time period. So that Moore's law is, like, you know, telling how it works in computation.
Mm-hmm.
But any technological fields that Moore's law apply karanna puluwan, if you observe it, you can predict at what kind of an interval it'll double, what kind of an interval it'll triple, and all.
Could be.
So that's interesting, right? Like, you know, I mean, we
stagnate වෙන්න මම මේ කියන්නේ AI වල මේ තව එකක් තමයි now they have discovered how to synthesize a bacteria that can eat plastic.
I've seen it before, but now I think they're really doing that. I was going to bring it up. What are we going to do about the microplastics?
දැන් හිතපන් AI is solving global warming too. Better batteries, better photovoltaic cells, better wind turbines, more of it.
පහුගේ අවුරුදු 5 වල EV got really cheap. Like, you know, electric vehicles have, like, you know, range got better and it got cheap. That's the best part. Range keeps increasing and the price keeps going down and soon we'll have, like, I'm thinking about changing the car, but I was like, if I just hold on to this, I can just buy an EV right away. Like, you know, that's in my price range.
I think a lot of countries have goals to completely phase out then, at least like Western countries. I've heard that 2030 2040 with the internal combustion engines phase out karannu plan එකක් ගහලා දෙන්න. You will legally be not allowed to sell a brand new internal combustion engine car. So
that's crazy. කවුරුන්දක නීතිගතව මම තාම එකක් කියලා තිබි, like it'll go the way of the horse. Like nobody like, people own horses, like still people own horses, there's races and all this stuff, but you මම ඉන්නේ ඩොට හින්දා මම නම් දකින්න සමහරට එකක් අස්සේ පිටේ යනවා, ඒක town එකේ නේ, like if you go towards the farms and all that.
Sirad? Farms, okay.
Farms. And like, there's a sign saying horse rider, like, you don't see it everywhere in Australia, but somewhere in Australia, some places you see. I think it'll go the way of the horse, like, you know, the internal combustion engine would be just like a fond memory, like, you know, like
it'll be a toy, you know.
It'll be a toy.
Yeah. The moment, and then there's also like fusion electricity is coming, fusion energy. Then, you know, AI will help us have high capacity batteries. So why would you even need petrol at that point? You have energy at your dispense anyway you like, anywhere you want, and it'll be cheap as hell. And internet on your fucking satellite near Earth orbit.
I think that's the beauty of humanity, right? You know, we created a whole bunch of problems in the last 50 years, and we are going to spend the next 50 years solving them.
And that's how you progress.
That's how you progress. You have to create problems.
That's the beauty of capitalism. Fuck you up and then also help you to find the solutions to the problems.
It's interesting how all this, you know, happens, and what a great time to be alive.
I know.
This is the best time to be alive.
This is
I'm pretty
insane.
sure back in the day, when the pyramids were being built, බන්ට එකක් උඩ ජෝඩුවක් කල්පනා කරලා පිරමීඩ බලපන් කොහොමද අපේ සර් පිරමීඩ් එකට අයිඩියා එක දාලා මචං මේ බලහන් and all that. And now here we are pointing at capitalism and going බලපන් capitalism නේ කොහොමද. So everybody,
අපි යුනික් මට ඇතින් බලද්දි මොකද like we were there when the internet became a thing. We were there when the smartphone became a thing. And we were there when the PC became a thing too. Right?
And now AI, like
now we are witnessing AI. Yeah.
මට නම් තියෙන හොඳම එක ඕක මචං, we saw the rise and fall of DVD. That's the best thing for me. ඒක තමයි what sells me the cake is the rise. And I remember, like, you know, watching Lord of the Rings in the bloody DVD, like, and the Blu-ray lasted for like this much.
I completely miss Blu-ray. I never had a Blu-ray disc drive. I never had a Blu-ray player.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
No, we lived through the CD-ROM era. Like, now me wala nahe, do we have a CD-ROM?
No, I don't.
I haven't in like 10 years. Like, you know,
හදිසියේ මක්කර CD එකක් කවර දුන්නොත් මට කරගන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මොනවා කරන්නද පුක්කන්න.
Yeah,
That's true.
So maybe we'll see the rise and fall of AI as well. Like, you know, we'll go the Dune way and we'll have people like, you know, like like
The sad part is we will not live to see the fall of AI. It will be fall of humanity if it's fall of AI. That's what I think. Because AI, you see, I see AI like nuclear weapons. It has that level of impact. And unlike nuclear weapons, you don't need special labs to fucking run AIs. All you need is fucking some computers and some chips that are being made by every fucking country in the world now, it turns out. It's no longer just US and Taiwan control.
I like the callback. I love the callback.
So everything's going to get democratized. Then godak AI safety kan katha karaddi, you hear people say, like, there was an interview done by Sundar Pichai, the Google CEO. ඌ කියන්නේ මේ ටෙක්නොලොජි එක හංගල වැඩක් නැහැ. මේ නීති දාලා මේ චීනට දෙන්නේ නැහැ කියයි, රෂ්‍යා වලට දෙන්නේ නැහැ කියයි, ඒ බයිලා වැඩක් නැහැ.
That's old world thinking.
Yeah, anyone can get a hold of this and run it. Like recently, China came up with an AI model that is apparently as good or similar to GPT-4. And you know what they did? They open sourced it. They were like, fuck it. Just chaos. Take it.
Even China saying that, yeah.
I mean, it's tactical. They're not being good guys here. So don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Cap cut හැදුවා වගේ තමයි.
Oh. So, you know, I think the only way to come out of it is probably to be open about it. And අර mutually assured destruction වගේ scene එකක් තමයි අර Sam Altman ඌ මුලින්ම කිව්වෙත් ඔය කතාවනේ. The only way to stop a bad AGI is a good AGI. So
Kaiju battle එකක් තියෙයි අපෙත්, like, you know,
it'll be fun.
Yeah, I remember Star Trek original series එකේ they find this planet. It's a very crazy story. Like, the original series was like so bad. Like, I love it because it's so bad. Okay, they find this planet. They are at a war with another planet.
Okay.
But there is no army. Like, you know, AI දෙක ගහගන්නවා. ඒකේ මැරුණ අපිට අපේ පැත්තේ 1000ක් මැරුණා කියලා, they go to kind of a gas chamber and die. There's no property destruction. There's no buildings falling. There's no infrastructure destruction. Only lives lost.
Is this the ultimate form of capitalism?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
This was thought in the fucking 60s, much. I mean, like, you know, make me Gene Roddenberry was a whole other vibe, man. Like, you know, Star Trek was like so ahead of its time.
Yeah. Star Trek එකේ ආතල් එක තමයි, it's not just stories, there's always a message.
Yeah.
හැම plot එකේ මොකක් හරි නිකන් underlying තියෙනවා signal එකක්. So that makes
South Park වගේ.
Pretty much, like, I think that actually gave birth to an entire genre of storytelling, like sci-fi storytelling. Because being political for the sake of being political is a little boring. Then, I mean, don't get me wrong, Star Wars is a fun franchise, but I don't really get that vibe from a franchise like that. A-type stories. It's more like good guys versus the bad guys, or like, you know, slavery is bad, or like forced labor is bad. Him line, so. But interesting. So, එහෙනම් මේ සිකුරාදා සෙට් වෙන්නේ අපි AI වලිය බලන්න, AGI versus AGI. බන්ටේ කොඩට ඇවිල්ලා බියර එකක් බිබි
අර බලපන් බියර එකක් බිබි ආතල් එක we talk about I know that's pretty fun.
we witnessed the fall of human civilization.
Happening now for the past 10,000 years.
Yeah, we'll come out of it. If there's one thing I know about
We
humans,
always do.
right? Is that we always come
I
out of it.
recently watched a reel about the worst year. Apparently there have been some really bad years for us, like we lost, like during the ice age and anyway during like civilization land, like earthquakes, තිබිලා ගිනි අරගෙන we've always somehow managed to stay. We love this planet. We are never going to go away. Like even when we leave this place and go exploring in the stars and all that, 10ක්වත් මේක ඇතුළේ ඉඳී මේක බලා ගන්න. Because this is home.
Yeah.
We can never.
This is home and we want to survive. කවුරු මොනවා කිව්වත් humans want to survive. They will figure it out. අර ඔබ කිව්ව එක මට මතකයි එකම ටොපික් එකද කොහෙද අර මේ at one point in the world the amount of humans were like less than 10,000 or something or less than 5,000.
Yeah.
And we bounced back. We bounced back.
To 8 billion.
Yeah. How do you go from 5,000 to 8 billion? Like that's I don't know.
Science. That's how you go from science and technology.
You just
that's what enables
just
us.
horny.
We are very horny. We are like, very very horny. තමයි ඉතින්. මොනවද ළඟදී බැලුවේ ඔයා? ටෙලිවිෂන් එකේ.
ටෙලිවිෂන් එකේද? මේ
කතන්දර
සොප්‍රානෝස් බැලුවා. මම ගොඩක් කාලෙක ඉඳන් බලන්න හිටපු ෂෝ එකක්. හැමෝම හොඳයි කිව්වා. හිටියා. අන්තිමට I decided to watch it. Honestly, pretty fun show. කතාව මේ මාර මේ ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක දැන් කාලෙක විදිහට like you feel like okay this is a story that's been told වගේ line එකක්. Especially the how they address it, but ඔක ආවේ 99 හරි 96 හරි 97 හරි තමයි පටන් ගත්තේ. ඒ කාලේ ආපු කතාවක් විදිහට you'll be surprised the kind of topics they touch on, like feminism, like a lot of progressive shit happens, but also some hardcore shit happens too, like people getting their heads blown out and gang wars, criminal corruption, politics අරගෙන මේක it's a very fun show. ඒ show එකේ කිසිම මේ shit just happens and you are just there to witness it. එහෙම ලොකු මේ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න මේ ලොකු දෙයක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න නැහැ. දේවල් සිද්ධ වෙනවා, you are just a witness to it and they are very fun to watch. Like it's one of those shows where like things just happen for no reason, like you'll have like this huge build up and the guy just gets into an accident and dies. What are you gonna do?
Life.
It's life. That's like the main theme of that show. So මේ Sopranos බලපු කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් I recommend it. It's one of those classic shows. අරක වගේ what's that show? It reminded me of Omar coming. What's that? The Detroit crime show. The
Wire.
The Wire. Yes. ඒක බලලත් නැද්ද?
මම ගොඩක් බලන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ මේ දෙවෙනි ඉනිම වගේ වතනවා.
ඕනේ. ධරණි උඹ බලලානේ.
මට වයිෆි නාවෙන එක තමයි ගැන සයිෆයි නැත්තම් මුකුත් බලන්නම බෑනේ. I want some fantasy element, like I don't want to look at life. Life happens to me enough, but I have watched life stuff නැතුව නෙවෙයි. I should මම මේ ටිකේ Silicon Valley බලනවා මුලින්.
Silicon Valley the show.
Yeah.
One of my favorite all-time favorite TV shows.
Yeah. It's anyway, අපි ඉතින් කතා කරමු.
ඔයා එහෙනම් යන්න Silicon Valley බලන්න. මම යන්න ධරණි බලන්න.
ඊළඟ සතියේ තායි සෙට් එක කියන්න තුනා මේ අපි දැන් කතා වෙච්ච දේ මේ subscribe කරන්න කියලා මොකද අපි
ඒක මුලින් නේ කියන්නේ හිටියේ
1000 ඔය ඒක දැන් කරන්න දෙන්නේ අපි edit එකේ දාමු තැනින් තැන මම මේ තාරකට කියන්න මේ දාන්න කියලා. එතකොට ඒ තමා කතාව ඉතින් ඒ තමා AI වල ලොකු විස්තර දැන් මේක chapter කඩන්න ඇද්දි මට මාර ආතල් එකක් තියෙයි. This is one long conversation.
No, well, yeah, we talked about Sam Altman issue. We went to China, Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea. We went to a little bit of politics. Came back to Silicon. Went somewhere else.
Regular as Buntcast.
Exactly. This is the 20th episode. you guys should probably be used to our style by now. මේ එහෙම නැත්තම් තව එපිසෝඩ් 3-4ක් අහන්න. එතකොට හුරු වෙයි.
ඉවරයක් නෑ මේක. අපි දෙන්න කමපා වෙනකම් කරනවා අපි.
ඔව්. ඉතින් එහෙනම් මේ
බලාපොරොත්තු ඉතින්.
යා thank you. ආන් ඊටප කට්ටියට මේ පොඩ්ඩ මීටරෙන් ඉන්න ලෝක වෙන දේවල් මේ දවස්වල ලොකු වෙනසක් වෙගෙන යන්නේ. ඒක නිසා මේ ලෑස්ති වෙලා ඉන්න. ලබන සතියේත් අපි යන්න ගහන.
හරි. අපි ගියා.
Buntcast out.